Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing my full review of the GiantMouse Ace Riv, and this is the Stormtrooper edition, the exclusive for Urban EDC Supply. But first, before I get into all that, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. All right, cool. So let's get into it. And let's go ahead and talk first about where to get this knife. And the answer is you can't get it. This thing is out of stock, and it is it was only available at Urban EDC Supply. And let me see. Hold on one sec. Let me see if I. Yeah, no, I don't even. Yeah, I was looking for the box, but oh, okay, I got it. So, interesting. They don't. That's kind of a bummer. They don't put. I guess this is one of my early critiques. It's just a congratulations on your purchase of a GiantMouse knife. There's no COA card or anything. It's kind of bare bones, cardboard. That's all you got. GiantMouse Ace Riv Stormtrooper exclusive. Well, that's kind of a bummer. One critique right off the bat, I'd prefer to have some kind of identification. Like obviously, yeah, it's the Stormtrooper knife. You get it. It's black coated. I think it's PVD or PVD DLC, whatever it is. Black coated titanium. We also have the black coated DLC PVD. Someone needs to comment and tell me the difference because it's confusing. We've got the coated blade. It almost looks like a light stone wash, so I guess I'd call that like a black wash. And then of course the coated hardware, coated clip, coated backspacer. But there's no identification. There's no certificate of authenticity card. There's nothing in the box, so that's kind of a bummer. But anyway, I'd say a good number of the knives that I review are available or will be available soon. And then every once in a while, I have a knife or two that it was either limited edition or good luck finding it again. And it's kind of a bummer that you can't get this in this configuration, but they do have these in, I think, in full titanium and maybe even like brass. So anyway, so you can get this knife. You can get the Ace Riv, just not in this particular configuration. Apparently this is produced by Riot for GiantMouse, and there are a lot of things on this knife that are very, Riot-esque, and those are positive things. So we'll go ahead and talk about that. But first, this knife I got from Urban EDC Supply. They do sometimes really amazing drops. They do it every Wednesday, and then sometimes as soon as you log in, 1 second, I think it's at 12 p.m. Pacific, 1 second in, everything's sold out, or like whatever the really coveted knife that you logged on for, sold out instantly. So they're limited drops. I guess that's the nature of the beast. But it's not the most fun thing if there's a knife that you really want. There's only 5 of them that they post. So it's an interesting business model. But that's where I got this. Luckily, it was in stock. And when I got this knife, the first thing that I noticed was how small it was. I think I was expecting the larger GiantMouse knife. I lose track of the names. This is my first GiantMouse knife, but it looks exactly like this, except it's bigger. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a titanium frame lock. There is a flipper tab right here. And that's one of my critiques. We'll get into that soon. But flipper, there's also a hole, so I can middle finger flick it if I choose to. It middle finger flicks really well. I like the design of the hole. It's not symmetrical. Really awesome, kind of fits in with this choil. You have the forward finger choil. Pretty good ergos. We'll get into all of the details in just a second. Let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison so you see just how small this guy is. Let's go ahead and get it up against the Quiet Carry, Quiet Carry Drift. And then let's go ahead and see where it lands against the Tactile Knife Co. Rockwall. So you can see this is definitely on the smaller side. I would consider both of these medium-sized knives, and then this is for sure on the smaller side. Get it measured up. Let's see. We got for the Ace Riv, got about 2.5 on the blade, just under 6 overall. The Drift, 3 inches on the blade, 7 overall, and the Rockwall 3 and 7. So these are very similar. Let's go ahead and get the Rockwall out of the way. And what else do I have on my desk that we can do a size comparison with? I have my my Scapegoat, which of course is gonna tower over both of these guys. But again, would you guys consider this a large knife? I don't know. I guess this is a large knife. But let's go ahead and see where it stacks up. I'll get the Drift out of the way and see what this, look these up for you, and see where the Scapegoat fits in. Yeah, we got about, yeah, so 3.5 and 8. I think this is large, but we can see both coated blades, and they both have these forward finger trowels. Very similar as far as the choils go, and that's about it. Let's go ahead, and of course they are titanium frame locks. They both are titanium frame locks. Let's go ahead and talk action. The action on this guy is interesting because the detent is stiff. This is it's a pretty kind of harsh, stiff detent, and let's see if you can see. But when you see the detent kind of suck the blade back in, it seems hard, but not crazy. So I'm like, okay, well, let's do a middle finger flick. Let's see. It's definitely stiff, but snappy. So I thought, okay, middle finger flick was pretty good, a little bit stiff. Let's go ahead and check the flipper, right? So I go to flip it. Ooh, nothing, huh? Again, it's harsh. It's kind of, and also the flipper tab is very tiny. So I'm going again, and I'm thinking, is the detent that strong? Like, what's happening? And then I realized that this wire clip, which I love wire clips, it sits right on top of the lock bar. So I would say this is the proper way to hold, I didn't write the book on how to hold frame locks, but I feel like this is, for a flipper, this is how we should be holding it. I'm on the clip, so I don't put pressure on the frame, on the lock bar. I have my other finger on the flipper. Not gonna happen. And the reason is, at least from what I've found, is when I put my finger on the clip, it is then pressing on the lock bar. So if I just move it down, which is uncomfortable, it's kind of an awkward position, perfect. The action is great, but it's just an awkward place to hold it. I'm so used to, for every other flipper I have, frame lock or liner lock, I'm not on the lock bar, but I'm kind of on the clip instead, and it's just harder to do. So anyway, long story short, that's a bummer that the wire clip is touching the lock bar. You can definitely kind of power through it, but if you get you know, a bum flip or two, or it feels really stiff, we know why now. And you know, overall for the Spidey flick, I think it's great. But the flipper, because this tab is so tiny, it's a little bit pokey, and there is pressure on the lock bar, it can be a little harsh on your finger and a little bit tough to deploy. Also, as far as closing action goes, it's just a, let's see if you can hear it. Okay, that's not right. That is just straight grit. So, you know, maybe I can loosen up the pivot a little bit. Maybe that'll help, but blade is dead centered, and it's just not smooth. Like it didn't come smooth, and it's currently just, it's just grinding. I don't know. And if I compare that to, I'm pretty sure this is on bearings. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But if I compare that to the, let's say the Rockwall, I mean, just so smooth. Also on bearings, just like butter, super clean and smooth. So, you know, not my favorite closing action. Obviously, it's not going to drop shut. It is a tiny blade, but I would prefer a kind of a smooth, almost like a washer close, like for the drift. I mean, so smooth. And this is on washers, but I expect some of that same smoothness from the Riv. Also, kind of a, I don't know what Riv stands for, but anyway. So let's go ahead and talk ergos next. Ergos are very good. This is a small pocket knife, but it fits my hand, you know, fairly well. It has the forward finger choil. You can hold it back a little bit. The jimping, they actually put a little bit, you know, a little bit forward on the spine. So I think the ideal grip, as far as the design goes, is this kind of forward position where my thumb is resting on the spine, a little bit choked up. And it fits really well. It's comfortable. I don't feel the clip. The wire clip is great. I love wire clips. My finger fits really nicely in the choil. The jimping is in the exact right spot. This is like a great, like a utility knife. Great utility knife. So ergos are excellent. Now we can listen to the gritty close. And yes, I know I can oil it and maybe loosen the pivot, whatever, but you know, this, it should come this way. You know, it should not come this way. It should come oiled and smooth and all that. What is next? Okay, so the again, the scale material, this G10 is amazing. I love it. They've sanded it or polished it or whatever. Maybe it's just different, you know, high quality G10. I don't know, but it's smooth, chamfered, zero sharp edges anywhere. Really kind of a comfortable, it's a comfortable, you know, knife to hold. Yeah, really nice edges, even on these kind of, you know, on these corners or whatever you want to call them. It's smooth and rounded off. So they did a great job knocking everything down. And that's what I would expect from Riot. As far as carry goes, it's great. The wire clip works really well in pocket. The knife is very light. You know, you just got this little tiny backspacer. We have the lanyard hole that I will never use. And it's light in pocket, easy in pocket, easy out, good retention. From the wire clip, I thought in pocket it's great. You can have this as a secondary knife or in your, you know, like a fifth pocket knife. I thought it was really solid. You know, let's check Lockup real quick. A little bit early, for my taste at least. A little bit early, but nothing to get worried about. There is a steel lock bar insert that you can see that is also coated to match. You know, this is a cool knife, and you can't beat the look. I mean, the Stormtrooper aesthetic is really hot right now and has been for the last year or so. And you saw I missed the flipper tab there. And it will continue to be. You know, I love Star Wars. It's one of my favorite movie series. It's just a cool knife to kind of have and show people and be like, yo, I got the Stormtrooper. And as far as function, you know, ergos and action, it's good, or especially in the ergo department. But there's definitely some improvements that could be made, and I wonder if it's the design. I would think that there's just, you know, little design aspects that could be changed. I don't know why it's so gritty. So that is a, you know, probably my top complaint, and that would go under the, you know, the action category. But overall, it's a pretty good knife, and I would definitely suggest, if you're curious about this knife, just get the titanium one, or get one of the other versions. I'm sure they have some available. GiantMouse stuff is usually, you know, readily available, and I think that overall it's a solid knife. Can there be improvements? 100%. But for kind of a tiny utility knife, pretty solid. And of course, I forgot to mention, but this is just the full flat grind. And you can see the little Ace Mouse logo. And, oh, you know what? I didn't even check the hardware. Let me check that real quick. I might have checked it in my first impressions video, but I have too many knives on my table. Okay, so all T8. Yep, T8, and okay, so well, that's a good plus. I'm glad I did that. So all T8 hardware. They definitely put a lot of thought in this knife, but there is, you know, there's definitely room for some changes and some improvements. I do like this kind of scalloped lock bar relief. I forgot to mention that. It's kind of cool looking. Yeah, solid knife, and I would try other GiantMouse stuff. I'd be interested in trying some of their larger knives, or whatever knife I was talking about. I guess it's the larger version of this. I forget the name. I don't even know if I ever knew the name, but it looks exactly like this, but bigger. So anyway, I think that just about wraps it up. Solid little knife. Definitely room for improvement. This has been Knife Standards. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support, and you know, the likes, the comments, the follows, you know, subscribers, everything. All that means a ton to me. So thank you for watching. This has been Knife Standards. I will catch you later.